Let's go, everybody. Here we go. Doot, 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 doot. Yeah, did I screw that up? I don't know. New cameras today, guys. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. We're trying to get this all figured out. Bring you back over here. That looks okay. Right in the middle. Right in the middle. It's a little bit goofy. Got it. Okay, now we'll do this. Hello, everyone. If you're coming in and you're not watching live, of course, you want to go to 00:00, and that will get you straight to the story. Hi, Brian. Hi, Cobalt. How's everybody doing today? Okay, we're gonna have a good show today. Nick Ladd, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Sean, what's going on? We'll start doing the jibber jab stuff in a second. Let people kind of filter on in. Brian, you know damn well we always blame the user around here. That's just the way it is. But the new camera is going to take some getting used to. It's a little Recluse Mage. How are you? New cameras. We got some Elgato Webcam 2s to replace the Logitech cameras that we have been using for, gosh, 12 years. Someone that Michael Moore. Hello. We've been using those cameras for a very long time. So these are new cameras. We got to get used to them a little bit. The lighting is a little different. They're much more higher resolution, I guess. Hi, Don. How are you doing? Welcome on in. Chris Growl in the house. Excellente. Excellente, everybody. P-back error. Michael, explain that. It went anagram to me. I don't know what that is. Recluse Mage just grabbed dinner, now headed home to enjoy it and the stream. I highly recommend. This is an episode where there's really only one line that might make you throw up. Usually there are many. This one is not quite so bad. Edward Rocco, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? Facebook's a little slow to activate today. Interesting. And of course, we do stream live to LinkedIn, and no one watches there, which is fine. Steve the Iceberg, Ricky Berg, knocking out some work for us last night. Appreciate that. Pedro Rodriguez, how you doing? You know what? Welcome to the hour plus of entertainment you get from me, where we just don't talk about the general news. Try to be happy for a little bit. Although we are talking about some news after the deep cuts tonight is going to be episode 50. No, sorry about that. I'm quite confused with the content I have in front of me here. Anyways, tonight on Deep Cuts, we're going to be talking about a lawsuit that is moving to trial against Audible, a monopoly lawsuit, basically saying that Audible has a monopoly on audiobooks for indie authors, and they force indie authors to only put their stuff on Audible if they want to get certain revenue benefits from Audible. But if you want to send your audiobook everywhere, so all the stores can have it, you're going to get paid a whole lot less by Audible. So we, I don't have that title here anywhere. Yep, that's it. We're just talking about the ongoing lawsuit. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Again, if you're coming after the fact, you can just fast forward to 00:00, and we will get right to story time. Got a really good story for you today. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Scott Aiken, hello and welcome in. Recluse Mage, I read actual homicide reports over lunch. Good. Then I don't think our one funny line will generate any kind of vomitous response from you. But if it does, that is okay. I mean, it's okay for me. It's not great for you. All right. What do we got coming on? This is post-story chat. This is pre-deep cuts. Yep. Okay. But of course, if you are here on YouTube, we got a bunch of people on YouTube today, which is great. Click like right now, ring that bell so you know when we go live, which many of you probably already do. And of course, subscribe and leave comments. That kind of stuff always helps. Dawn Shipley's doing okay, but tired because she's been helping to create a set piece for a movie being made in the wilderness an hour north of Hood River, Oregon. It's in Washington, but I don't remember the town. That is super fun. That's great. Martin Evans in the house. Excellent. Cobalt, correct. You can fuck your math teacher, but you can't fuck math. Pookie Chang. That is an actual Pookie Chang quote. Got my tea, going no scotch tonight. Maybe when A comes up, I'll figure it out. With sound, it looks like everything seems to be running quite well. Real bumper crop going on YouTube today, and far less Facebook viewers than we usually have. It's very interesting. I don't know if people are tapering off of the Facebook, or Facebook probably just isn't notifying people that I'm on. We do try and let you all know repeatedly. And of course, let's see if I can, we got 1 minute left. Let's see if this works here. Go to books. That did not work. Books upright. Let's see if I can get this. 2020, we turn that off. Bear with me. Window capture. We got to go to Chrome, Google Chrome. Boom. There we go. Got it. Guys, we're closing in on 100 reviews for Slay. We got to, those are rookie numbers. We got to bump those up. If you have read Slay, get your butt over to Audible, leave a review, 5-star me. It's like a high five. It's like giving me a high five, even though we're not in the same room. And of course, hey, Tim Clark. And of course, you want to review it on Amazon as well. If you've read the Kindle version, if you've read the hardcover, and there's paperback for it as well, you guys can order all of that at scottsigler.com/slay. That has the links to Audible. That has the links to Amazon. One easy to go spot for that. Babe, AK, when you come up, looks like we've lost all of the usual notes with the newsletter and the text message and SMS and everything like that. So that's all got to get back in there. All right, let's get ready for showtime. And if you are new on YouTube, watch this for the first time, we will go ahead and do this. Boom, go here, and you can text us. Send SIG text to 855-955-5095. That gets you on the SMS list, and we notify you of things like live streams and all the books that are coming out, and there will be many of them. And of course, subscribe to the newsletter at scottsigler.com/newsletter. Let's get back to main. Let's bring up our Slay lower third. Let's get rid of that timer. It's time. So here we go. We're going to dive right into it, I hope. Or possibly not. This window should not have been removed. It should have been up the whole time. Bummer. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And there we go. Slay episode 101. Let's get at it. Story recording. Check, check, check. And we have waveform. How lovely. Okay, guys. I'm a little brain farty today. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. That will happen. And here we go. Previously on Slay. Lincoln's leg wound hasn't healed, yet he is pushing the gang to head for the Alnwick Poison Gardens before Callista realizes the reason for Mercutio's abduction. Callista thinks Icepick might be the culprit. She has demanded the bounty hunter's presence at her club. How will his second visit to the place turn out? Find out next on Slay, episode 101. The scritch thrip of duct tape pulled off a roll. No way, Link said. I am not using a fucking crutch. Good God, this man. So exasperating. Yes, you are, Magda said, as she wrapped the tape around his damaged thigh armor. I mean it, you goddamn stubborn fool. He was sitting on her workstation chair, letting her finish her improvised repair to the bullet hole she'd put in his armor. There hadn't been time to fix it right. A piece of spare meshwork plate, cut to cover the hole, duct taped in place, would have to do. Hopefully, it would be enough. Billy and Ariella stood at the workshop table, upon which lay still unconscious pretty boy Mercutio. His body dotted. His body. Is that you, babe? I thought A was busting in. Here we go. Billy and Ariella stood at the workshop table, upon which. Sorry, guys, I'm hearing things. Babe, are you up here? Oh, snap, we got ghosts. We got ghosts. How fitting for Slay. Let's try one more time. Billy and Ariella stood at the workshop table, upon which lay still unconscious pretty boy Mercutio, his body dotted with band-aids. Billy set pieces of Sir Arnaud the Pure's cursed armor around Mercutio, while Ariella, who was supposed to be helping Billy, kept putting her face next to Mercutio and taking selfies with her cell phone. I'm not stubborn, Link mumbled. You're stubborn. And no crutch. He wasn't making eye contact with anyone. Billy had filled Magda and Ariel in on the Jacoby situation. Lincoln was taking it hard. Magda put 3 more wraps around the armor just to be sure. Duct-taped ancient meshwork plate. It wasn't the first time, not by a long shot, but still, it looked ridiculous. All the more so because the hole was her fault. Her first time as his wingman in years, and she had almost killed him. Way to go, Mags. Way to go. She smoothed the tape's end, set the roll atop a cluttered pile of tools on her desk. Link, look at me, she said. He did not. He stared off, maybe gazing at the training mat, maybe looking at nothing at all. It hurt to see him like this. No matter how bad Jacoby had treated his son in the past, and treated him even worse in the present, Link loved his father in that obsessively idolizing, subconscious way only an oldest son can. Magda gripped Link's chin, lifted it, stared into his haunted, slate gray eyes. I am not fucking around with this, she said. I told you we needed to wait. You insisted on going right now, so this is the trade-off. Your femur is fractured. The chiropractors need more time to knit it properly. If the bone breaks in mid-fight, you'll go down like a sack of potatoes. What happens to Sam then, huh? Just use the crutch until we reach Alnwick. I am calling in a marker. Do it for me. He twisted his head sharply, pulling away from her hand. He glared at her. A marker? Fuck you. That's low, Mags. Over the years, they had done so many solids for each other, they'd lost count of favors owed, all the butts saved, all the times they'd had each other's backs when no one else did. A marker had become shorthand for, you will do this because I asked you. That's all the reason you need, and we both know it. And when you cashed in a marker, that was that. In life, there are few people who can call on you and you will be there. Rain or shine, night or day, good or bad. And for those rare few, you will risk it all. You don't give a shit. Because their pain is somehow greater than any you could feel yourself. Few, far between, and rare, it's the people you would kill and die for that define who you really are. Because life truly lived, life deeply lived, it isn't about you. It's about your people. Life is about those who have earned your loyalty. Life is about those who paid the iron price for your respect, for your devotion. To die in service of those, to die in service of people like that, how lucky are you that your days had some real meaning? Yeah, Magda said. It's low down and it's dirty. I admit it. Lincoln drew in a slow, angry breath. let it out with frustrated, nostril-flaring annoyance. Fine, he said. I'll use the stupid crutch, but only till we reach Alnwick. Magda walked across the training mat to the equipment rack. She grabbed the old crutch from between a pair of hunting rifles and an ancient samurai sword she kept meaning to repair. It had been her crutch 4 times. No, 5. She couldn't remember exactly what wounds forced its use. It had been Lincoln's once, after the incident with the Banshee in Baghdad. No, wait, twice, after damage to his poop chute brought on by the debacle of the Kanbani Rideau. Sorry, I gotta read I even have it phonetically spelled out. It's really hard to do this stuff on the fly. Okay. Brought on by the debacle of the Kanbari Nyudo. The Kanbari Nyudo New Year's Eve in Kyoto. And no one wanted to remember that night. Especially not the Kanbari Nyudo. In a not-so-ironic twist, the battered old crutch had duct tape on the handle and the armpit rest, edges blackened and goo-dotted from use. A few bloodstains, too, but wasn't that the way of things? After all, what goodness in life comes without blood? Pretty much all of it, Magda had to remind herself. Most of life, actually. Growing up in Bastion training had skewed things, bent things, broke things. A life well spent wasn't really about pain, wasn't really about blood. A life well spent wasn't about killing. Not really. The Bastion had corrupted that for her. She'd entered training, willingly and with all her soul, at 12 years old. And honestly, what does a 12-year-old know? Nothing. And yet, that decision dug the channel through which the rest of her life flowed. Magda turned to see Billy finishing up the black armor prep. And Ariella, leaning down, her face next to Mercutio's, a cell phone in her hand, aimed at both of them for a selfie. Smile, Stunad, Ariella said. Ariella wore, of course, her ever-present turquoise charm necklace, a white blouse with a few too many unbuttoned buttons, black leather miniskirt, black stockings with skull patterns, and black fuck-me pumps that would have broken Magda's ankles in 3 steps or less. Her face was right next to Mercutio, and her matte red lips made smooching noises. It would have been easier to hate Ariella if she wasn't so damn sexy. The kind of allure brought on not only by a body that could start wars, but also the confidence only those with war-starting bodies possessed. Actually, that made it infinitely easier to hate her. Ariella, Magda said, what the hell are you doing? The boss bitch gave Magda a fake eyelash wink. Call it insurance. She bit lightly on Mercutio's earlobe, took yet another selfie. I told you I would handle his cooperation. She stood, looked at the phone, smiled, and nodded. This is good stuff. Billy stepped back, rubbed his hands together. Okay, skinny white boy is ready, he said. Max, can I say the magic words? Can I? His innocent earnestness was such a whiplash contrast to Ariella's sex-on-wheels sensuality that it made Magda's temples ache. Sure, Big B, Magda said. Get at it. Thanks. Billy spoke in a voice dripping with emojis and far too many exclamation points. Okay, let's light this candle. Magda was a mechanic, not a true mesh worker. She couldn't conjure things out of thin air like Kelly Stroman used to do. She couldn't see filament with her naked eye like Billy could. She didn't possess the naturalist abilities like they had, which meant she couldn't make magic, but she could modify it. The basement workshop, full of potions and scrolls, tools and tricks, guns and gears, runes and rivets, glyphs and grinders, this was where she could make wonderful things happen. When it came to the art of mechanics, Magda was a true student of the game. And, as such, her modifications to the cursed armor of Sir Ono the Pure were, to say the least, some pretty goddamn impressive shit. Billy stepped back, closed his eyes, raised his hands, and shook his head in a way that looked like he belonged in a pro wrestling ring, ready to give his diatribe to his honored foe. I'm a Claude, clinkum crass! Magda's love for Billy faded, replaced by annoyance. How could a dirty butt kid from Tollingwood speak archaic French better than she could? Somehow, he was suddenly James Brown, sent back in time, growing up in a cathedral squat with monks who smoked Newports and spoke in tongues. Billy continued the spell. Te levi, sar le casque, mortoif, il bouge pas, car ce que commence one mere cronche pas. Armor pieces rattled like snakes, snakes afraid for their lives and warning all comers that it would not just be them who died that day. A rattle like a chorus of the damned, warning Satan to stay back, that Old Scratch would win this fight, but walk away with a permanent limp. Then the thigh armor lurched, latched to Mercutio's legs with a concussive shiver. Pullens jerked once, crashed into place over his knees. Greaves growled like they were sending a primitive warning before they clamped tight to his shins. Eustace hesitated, twitched, snapped onto his supple thighs with a metallic hiss. Brassards, rebraces, and vambraces rattled like teeth in cold water before damn near attacking the unconscious man, encasing his thin but muscular arms. The cuirass flinched before folding in, front and back scooping around the man like a hug from a lifer just out on parole. The gorget twisted in the air, spun once, then clamped shut against his throat. Spiked spalders dragged themselves shoulderward, each plate jerking to position like it hated being late. And the helm. It didn't just drop on. It descended, slow and mean, sliding upon his head like an over-caffeinated promise of protection against all who dare step to him. Billy raised his palms skyward, a church boy embracing the holy word. Praise Magda! He screamed. God damn, woman! When you cook, you cook! Mercutio was ready. The blacker-than-black armor was ready. The armor was ready. The massive, blacker-than-deep space rig waited for only one thing. For Magda Magdalene to put on her ear cuff, to will herself into the cursed steel itself, to bring the demonic monstrosity to thunderous life. Which she would do. She wasn't perfect. She couldn't control everything, but she could back her partner's play. Magda Magdalene, in that armor, could bring the hurt. She was a marker put in play eons before it was called. Lincoln stood, using the crutch to support his armor-clad weight. Some redness in his complexion. The crutch embarrassed him. Sometimes that man could be such a stubborn, overproud fool. And in that way, he was more like his father than he thought, than he ever wanted to be, really. Link's living, ragged cloak settled down around him, caressing the floor, hiding the crutch from sight. Get your heads in the game, he said. Ariella, it's time. Make the call. More of Billy's plan about to burst into life. Or death. In this world of violence, wounds, and blood and scars, there was often little difference. Magda had missed this life so much. These moments of conflict, the instances of who wants it more? Who These moments of conflict, the instances of who wants it more, who has that dog in them. When it came to that fight or flight, that life or death, that runaway or stand and fight, who was more willing to lose it all? To lose everything. Despite her failures and her crippling lack of confidence, despite the fact that she could not bring herself to actually leave this church, she felt blessed to be back in the mix. Because this place, this war within her soul, this was where she had been born to be. Ariella smiled. You know what, Lincoln Franks? I'm going to enjoy this. She touched her turquoise necklace. She shifted, transitioning from a librarian MILF who shot porn on the side into a shorter, wider woman in her late 50s wearing heavy blue eyeshadow. Ariella's clothes morphed into a rhinestone-dotted teal pantsuit, one that might have actually fit 3 decades ago and some 30 pounds ago. Ariella's $1,000 cut, short blonde hair kept its color, mostly, but cascaded into shoulder-length curls streaked with white-gray roots. Esme Wilkerson Standish, at your service, she said. That voice reeked of moneyed privilege, of a woman who'd never worked a summer job to make money for college. Probably never worked at all, for that matter. Wrinkles and caked-on foundation made Magda think of a makeup artist who'd learned her talents in a local mortician's basement. It was Florida retirement home meets the well-to-do Walking Dead. I'll ask one last time, Lincoln said. You're sure Callista doesn't know this voice? Esme Wilkerson Standish smiled, which made her wrinkles look like the shadowy delta of some jungle river. I'm sure. She held her phone in front of her, pearl-pink press-on nails tapping at the screen. I had a client set up a relay just in case that bitch can trace calls. This will only take a couple of moments. Reginald had to admit, for a man in danger of being incinerated by heat so intense it would turn his bones to ash, or having his head lopped off by an angry, steroid-abusing minotaur wielding a golden axe, Icepick seemed rather nonchalant. So, a truck-sized, teleporting suit of black armor, Icepick said, as he slowly crossed the dance floor, black leather trench coat swaying in time. 2 people missing. 1 Mercutio, employed by this facility, and 1 Hasharame, a first-time patron and date of Lincoln Franks. 1 eyewitness saying she saw the armor teleport out with the 2 victims. 3, possibly 4, tentacled creatures were in play, causing panic. Do I have that right so far? The club sat empty, save for Reginald, Callista on her throne, and Robert standing at his mistress's side, Labrys in hand. Yeah, that's right, the boisterous monster said. Which, you know, is not exactly the New York Times crossword for you to figure out because you're the one who is behind this. Icepick stepped to the bar with the broken glass, where Mercutio had slammed into bottles and shelves. I'm not going to respond to comments like that any longer. He bent over the bar, looked behind it, head turning left, right, then left again. Is this where big black armor zapped out? So calm, so matter-of-fact he was. Reginald got the rather strong impression this was far from the first time Icepick had faced threats from powerful people. More than once, most likely. That is correct, Goriginald said. Icepick stood straight, looked at Callista, Robert, and Goriginald in turn. Did any of you three see this vanishing act with your own eyes? 3 heads, 3 shakes. Goriginald suffered a sinking feeling he knew what the next question would be. And this single eye witness, Icepick said. Where is she again? Callista now looked at Goriginald. Smoldering fury danced within her eyes, and that heartbreak on her face, which she tried and failed to hide. Mercutio was no mere plaything to her. She loved the foppish, overly dedicated man. She treasured him. The right rear post of Callista's throne had snapped off during the fight. Goriginald mentally added that to his list of repairs. The girl went home, I imagine, Goriginald said. That fault is mine. I should have kept her here, but she was so upset, and there had been so much violence. He let his words trail off. No point in trying to explain himself. The twins were regulars, excellent customers. The girl had wanted to leave, and who could blame her? I wouldn't beat yourself up over it, Icepick said. He looked at Callista. And I wouldn't break Gary's balls about it either. A simple mistake. Almost anyone might make it. Anyone other than me, that is. Icepick returned to the dance floor. Callista watched him. Icepick knelt, put 2 gloved fingers to the floor in the spot where the man in gray had destroyed one of the creatures. Icepick looked at his fingertips. Rust, he said. Yeah, it's fucking rust, Robert said. How about you tell us how you did all this? If you do, I'll make your end quick. I won't chop off your saggy, shriveled... Callista held up a finger, and Robert stopped in mid-sentence. Icepick stood and sauntered on. So at home in the situation he was. He pointed to a spot on the dance floor near the throne dais. Is that the man in gray's blood? It was, and there was quite a bit of it, a puddle smeared thin by Lincoln's own body. It is. Callista looked at the blood, her expression part sadness, part wistfulness. It's not the first time that Lincoln Franks has bled to protect me. Icepick knelt, this time by the puddle, again touched his fingertips down, sniffed them. He shrugged, as if a bit surprised at what he smelled. It's real. He stood, brushed his fingertips against his trench coat. What kind of shape was Franks in when he left? Bad shape, Robert said. He could barely stand. Meshwork bullet, armor penetrating. Nasty stuff. His friend came and got him. Icepick thought for a moment, looking around as he did. I see. His friend. A man named Walt, by chance? There was nothing quite like a detective who arrived already knowing things. That is correct, Goriginald said. Icepick casually strolled to the club's 3rd bar, the smallest of the trio, the one where Robert kept his private stash of tequila. Goriginald got the impression Icepick had defeated foes as big and surly as Robert. More than once, most likely. Icepick stepped behind the bar. More rust here, he said. Rust golems, yeah? Callista stood. So it seems. More distraction than danger, although we did not know it at the time. Still staring down, Icepick nodded. That is how diversions work, ma'am. He looked at the bottles behind the bar, at the wall from which the bar and the bottle-holding shelves stretched out. Some rust on the wall here. Pattern is odd. A smear that stops fast, with a hard edge. He turned, looked at Callista. This bit of wall is a secret door? Impressive, Goriginald had to admit. That secret door had been made by none other than the legendary meshworker Zay Zamunda. There was no possible way to see the door because it was one with the wall itself. Unless, perhaps, a golem had entered or exited through it, leaving a rust smear that stopped flat with a hard edge. "There is," Callista said. "What does that tell you, Icepick?" She said his name as one word, made that word sound like vanilla ice cream laced with cyanide. "It means, maybe, that big black armor didn't teleport in here after all. Or teleport out." Before entering service for Mistress, Griginald had earned his keep as a creeper. As a thief, not a good one. As an assassin, a terrible one, to be honest. And as a private investigator, the only part he'd been halfway decent at. Despite the fact he walked around the entire club a half-dozen times since the attack, looking for any clues, and despite the fact that he knew this place like the points of his own hooves, it had never occurred to him that the assailant might have gained access not by magic, but rather by the silent, secret entrance at the end of the smallest bar in the club, a shadowy spot that no one really watched. If Griginald had not been so impressed with Icepick's fast analysis, he might have been embarrassed by his own failures. "Let's say teleportation wasn't involved," the man said. "Who knew about this door?" Callista looked to Griginald. He kept track of such things for her. "Excluding myself, Mistress, Mercutio, and Robert, there are 4 people who were on duty tonight," Griginald said. "And 3 more who know of it who are not on duty." "Small number," Icepick said. "That's good. May I see what is behind this door?" Callista crossed her arms. "You may not," she said. "It is enough for you to know the door leads to a passageway that has exterior access. That is all you may know at this time." Griginald was not surprised. The fewer people who knew of the Griginald was not surprised that she wouldn't share. A little typo, sorry. Griginald was not surprised she would not let Icepick see the Griginald was not surprised she would not let Icepick see the old hidden chambers. The fewer people who knew of the dried-up polyp nursery, the better. Icepick returned to the dance floor. He stood in front of Callista. "Ma'am, if you still think I'm the one behind this, I suggest we fight it out right now. Why waste time, right? Everyone has a lot of things to do." Mistress Callista considered this, looked Icepick up and down. Perhaps, Griginald noticed, her up and down paused a bit too long on the man's middle. "It wasn't you," she said. Icepick bowed his head. "I'm glad to hear you think that. Do you think Dante Oganov might have been the instigator?" Of course, Icepick would suspect the goblin. He'd come here warning of Dante, and shortly after, the goatberries had hit the windmill. "Considering your deft analysis of the situation," Callista said, "that's something I would like you to find out. The culprit must pay, and pay dearly. First, though, my beloved is missing. I want him found." Icepick glanced at the drying, Lincoln-sized smear of blood, then back to Callista. "And the woman as well, Hasharame?" Callista shrugged. "Her as well if it's convenient, but focus on Mercutio. Dead or alive, I want my lover found." Icepick nodded. "I understand. Let's talk price." Inside his tuxedo jacket, Griginald felt his cell phone buzz. He turned his back to the others and walked a few steps away as he pulled it out. Caller ID, unknown. Strange. Few people had this number. He kept close track of those that did, every number properly labeled and stored. A scam caller, perhaps? Or something to do with Mercutio, possibly. He accepted the call. Yes? Hello, darling. Let me speak to your mistress. A woman's voice. Older. American. Cultured. Who is this? How did you get this number? Don't worry your furry head about how I got your number, the woman said. I've resources that would simply blow your mind. Caterers, local artisans, the creme de la creme of the social circle. You name it. Now, darling, put your mistress on the line, or you can bid adieu to a certain male model and a rather statuesque Gothic sex kitten. Reginald turned to look at Callista. She and Icepick were both staring at him. I assume that's for me, she said. She wiggled her fingers inward. Give it. Reginald hurried to her and handed her his phone. Callista put it on speaker. I'm listening. Oh, that's wonderful, the caller said. I must compliment you for your taste in men, darling. Mercutio's ass is so firm, I wanted to smack it with a ruler. So I did. The ruler broke. Does he do Pilates? Or perhaps Taibo? Flickering tongues of orange flame sputtered up from Callista's eyes. You have me at a disadvantage, she said. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? Oh, no one special. Just a woman in need of a financial benefactor. That benefactor is you, darling. If you ever want to see two beautiful, beautiful people alive again, you will do as I ask. Callista slowly stood. The air around her shimmered from heat. Reginald did not back away, although his body was already screaming at him to get clear. Let me see if I understand this correctly, Callista said. You claim to have taken Mercutio and Asharame, and you demand a ransom for their safe return? The old woman's voice, tinny from the small speaker, crackled with delight. B-I-N-G-O, darling! You're as smart as you are attractive. Side note, I'd like to see if your tight ass could crack a ruler. Maybe later for that particular extracurricular activity, though. Such flippancy, such insolence. When Mistress found this woman, the retaliatory pain inflicted would be immeasurable. How much? Asked Callista. The heat radiating off her. Oh, not enough to break the bank, the woman said. Not your bank, at any rate, darling. 5,000 gold pieces will purchase their freedom. And their health, for that matter. Standard coin only, no baubles, jewelry. Standard coin only, no baubles, jewelry, charmed items, or used vehicles. You have 48 hours to gather the amount. I'll be in touch then. And, darling, don't try to find me. It's a waste of your time. Ciao! Callista's body-generated heat wave winked out. She handed the phone to Reginald. Call Franks, she said. If you don't have a number where you can reach him, figure it out. Tell him what we just heard. Icepick, if the opportunity should arise for you and the man in gray to work together on this, I assume that won't be an issue? Icepick shook his head. I work alone, he said. And I'm going to get started right now. Have your 7 employees who know about the secret door brought back in. Question them. Do not be shy about it. One of them may have facilitated tonight's action. If you find anything, your man Reginald knows how to reach me. Icepick turned and strode toward the passageway leading out, his trench coat flapping along in time. Icepick, Callista called. The hitman stopped, turned to face her. Yes, ma'am. You have my backing, she said. I can bring forces to bear, should you need assistance. To ensure we don't get in your way, may I know your next steps? Icepick grinned. The grin of a methodical man. The grin of a killer. You may not, he said, then turned again and left. At any other time, that kind of dismissive comment might have drawn Callista's flaming ire, but not tonight. Reginald, let Icepick out the door, she said. Then find me anything you can on him that I don't already know, but only after you arrange for 5,000 gold pieces as a ransom payment. And when you reach Lincoln, summon him here. Reginald did not see what good that would do. Mistress, as we know, the man in gray will hunt for the culprit. Shouldn't we let him do what he does best? Bringing him here will take up time that could be better spent elsewhere. She looked at him then, the red fire in her eyes leaking out the sides and flickering upward. I want Franks here, she said. You were wrong, Reginald. Aside from us, it's not 7 people who knew about the door to the polyp chamber. It's 8. Franks knows. I want to know who he may have told about it, and I want to know right now. Robert slapped a big hand against the big space between his big horns. Oh, fuck, he said. From that night, Link helped us beat Dante. Earlier, Reginald thought he might have been embarrassed. Now he truly was. The kind of full-on shame that made him want to crawl behind one of the 3 bars. Any of them would do, and dissolve into the tile. Right away, mistress, he said. I will see to it. That is it for Slay episode 101. What's up? Oh shit, just told a story. Gotta wait for A to get up here trying to figure out. We don't know what episode of Slay Deep Cuts we're on right now. 58? I think it's going to be 58. That'll work. And now I'm ready for A to come on up. A, come on up. If there's a scotch in hand, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Looks like the camera's sticking a little bit. The new camera's doing a little bit of sticking. Oh, what we got in the chat room? Let's take a look. Boom. Donald Martin says, loving Slay. Thanks, DFO. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Santa Donald. Cobalt says, Icepick has that arrogant confidence and sounds just like Rob Froese. I'm not sure if I spelled that right. You did spell that right, and you know you're fucking right. Those 2 voices are very, very similar. I think I had a different voice for Icepick when I started out, and then I came up on a later episode and hadn't worked it out, so I just tried to do that very clipped. It sounds exactly like Rob Froese, which means when I re-record the whole audiobook, we're going to have a new voice for him. Donnie Bliss loved it. Recluse Mage says, nicely done. Nyoka said, applause. Tyler Miller, yee! Edward Rocco, so good. Cobalt, that was fantastic. Horrible things just around the corner. Tons of horrible things. Steve Rickenberg says, the next recording of Deep Cuts 58. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Hey, Robert Brisson. How you doing, man? Yes, great. Okay. We are dog sitting today, so A might take a moment to get up here, but not to worry. Let's go over our housekeeping. I am 28% through the copy edit of the Crypt Book 2, which means hopefully by week's end, that will be sent off to Athon, the publisher. We started working on a book cover today, kicking ideas around. It's looking like, the only one in the chat room who knows this right now is Chris Kroll. A doesn't even know this. It's looking like they're going to use an Octhera, one of the armored personnel carriers, the crawlers, coming in to land on a thing, and that's going to be the cover. And I'm super excited to see what they do with it. I don't know. We have sent them, of course, the picture of the Octhera Lego model, which you guys haven't seen. I'll call it up for you here. I got the hiccups, gross. I do. It's really gross. It's so gross. Oh my God, it's so gross. Let's go Lego. Now this was designed by Kelly McCardle, longtime junkie. Books. And this is the Octhera. These are free Lego plans. You can download them at scottsagler.com/store. The plans are free. And there are links that already has all the parts pre-bought for you if you're interested in that. Thanks, baby girl. But look at this sick. So this was made based on my descriptions in the book Crypt 1 Shakedown. And Kelly did all of this work. Chris Grawl, who's in the chat room now, designed the Lego Keeling, both the full length and the Funko version, the little short one. They are absolutely phenomenal. Here's the Octhair. Look at this front ramp opens down, ready to come out. We got missiles, man. We got a rear ramp, man. You got everything you could want. Anyways, this is what they're using to make the cover design. So you guys are all the first to hear it. Look, little pilot in there. It's so fucking cool, man. I haven't got this one yet. I got to get this for myself and
I love the cat.
Put it together. Oh yeah, the cat. Can we see this?
I love it so much.
Oh, I can't. Hold on. Let's see if I can call up that picture. Looks like we got This is Kelly's cat. It's a little goofed up. Okay, so now go back to main. So that is the big news, that we are very close to getting Crypt Book 2 into the print process. And let's take a look over here. Hey, babe. Yes, our color's a little goofy, you guys. Oh, it's over here now.
I need these two.
Yep. You gotta use the little thing.
Oh, that's right. And microphone?
Yes, of course. Okay, I'm talking. Can you hear yourself?
I can.
Okay.
Is that good, or do we need to close that over? I wanted to leave it for the AC. Hi, guys.
There, they can't see that. We got the AC, and like I said, you guys, new camera, color's a little goofy. We'll do the best we can, and we're gonna go.
Although it is super sharp.
It's sharp.
It's really, really nice to look at, and I will tell you how I know because these flashlights you can see when you're reading.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, those are your favorite flashlights.
I love my
Which
flashlights.
I'm not sure I've ever seen before.
They are made of metal. Okay, can you scooch a little bit toward me? Just a little bit.
Of course I can. I'm gonna do this.
Get a little closer. You all right? So I'm gonna see if I can manage the hot heat
shiny.
here. Yeah, we're very shiny.
So
Brightness. We can bring brightness down. It won't get rid of the shine. That just makes it dull. So this takes a little bit to figure out. Contrast down a little bit. I don't know what the you know what? Entertain for a second. I'm gonna turn on the lights.
No problem. Turn on.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the lights. Here, give him the
I will.
housekeeping.
I'm gonna give you the housekeeping while he does that. First, let me see what that says. Somebody, I think, just asked me a question. All right. Yes, thank you, Sean. I was far so that I could point those out. And Lord of the Rings girl, very nice to see you.
Well, it didn't work. Okay, we're just gonna go.
And I have no idea what the cameras are, Steve, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm wearing a ton of makeup. Which
it's
is
weird.
Yeah, that's all right.
Maybe you got a higher refractive index.
Right, and I have to be close to the mic, and that puts me right in the light too.
Let's do this.
So
get you back a little bit.
Back a little bit.
That helps. There we go.
There we go.
All right. I think you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me bring this down a little bit for you.
Joseph, have a great night.
Great.
So lovely to see you.
All right. All right, guys.
I did not do the housekeeping. I was talking to people in the comments.
And now it's
super dark. What just happened?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's automatic. It's doing some automatic shit. We'll get this figured. This welcome to the Sausage Factory.
Low drag operation here.
I said welcome to the Sausage Factory, implying how the sausage gets made. It did not sound like that at all. Like welcome to the Sausage Factory, motherfucker. Let's go. Let's go.
How we do.
All right, so Crypt Book 2 is almost out the door, and then I go back to working on GFL Book 7's final draft. Saturday, June 22nd, Slay episode 100, Torn Between, hit the feed. Wednesday, June 25th, which is today if you're watching at home, Deep Cuts episode 56. A's brother Jude joined us for a chat in Stamford. Jude is a regular in the chat room, and they basically just told stories about being kids together.
Yeah.
The recording, I screwed up on my end, so Steve had to save it from YouTube, I think, and do the best he could editing it.
And
so,
it was a great job.
He did a great job.
It's really fun, yeah.
Okay. Talk a little bit.
I'm talking a little bit. Do you need me to just keep talking?
Water?
Kim Hansen, I did. I brought up Sprite,
Yep.
But yes. Thank you so much. My birthday is this weekend. Our anniversary is this weekend, and I appreciate the well wishes.
Yeah, Michael Moore, it's doing something auto frame rate or aperture adjustment. It's all set to auto right now. So we'll have to get this dialed in. So it sees something different. It's compensating. We'll work on that later.
Except
But you know more
Brian,
about the shit than I do. Frankly.
Brian at YouTube says he's always blaming the tech. Stop blaming the tech. And that's fair. We always blame the tech. Except this time, we had internet issues, we had connectivity issues, we had all this stuff.
I don't know how to work the fucking tech. So yes, it's the tech because I'm too stupid to know how to use the tech. Jesus.
Birth diversity. I
Watch
might
this.
like that better. I might like birth diversity better. Whoa.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Hey. That now, look, we changed the framing. It's beautiful. Okay, continuing. Sunday, June 29th, tonight's episode, Slay episode 101, Duct Tape goes live in the feed. And we are also probably Friday going to get the episode where Rob and I talk about, we talked about hitting 100 episodes of Slay. So you're going to get an extra episode of Deep Cuts this week. And then next week, the Deep Cuts we're about to have will be on there. Mm-hmm. Saturday, July 5th is Junkie Party.
Yay.
That starts, of course, at 4 p.m. Pacific, 11. Is that right? Yeah. 11 p.m. No.
It's from 4 to 11.
From 4 to 11 Pacific, from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. You guys can tell, A and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
We've been having a rough time.
Kind of on autopilot right here. And if you've got something that you want to hear us talk about, email info@emptyset.com. That's the way you're going to do it.
As we're moving through the summer, if you have any thoughts or anything you want to have us talk more about, or if you don't like this new format where we're sort of talking about being a small business and small author publishing and all that stuff, I want all of your feedback because we are in this to win this with you guys. But trying to make everybody keep the weekly live stream and get our work done, that kind of thing.
So there you go. That is the housekeeping. Episode's done. Housekeeping's done. Crypt Book 2 is getting precariously close. GFL Book 7 is rolling along. Warpath, working on the cover for that too, but I can't tell you what it is. I'm not allowed to tell you anything about the stupid book or the cover, etc. But that's 3 books in play right now. Also, by the end of the year, we hope to be getting Slay Book 2 ready for ebook, print, audiobook. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We've got a lot on our plate.
Yeah, I think I'm almost done with that edit for Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did a lot of it today.
Great. Yep. Small business, big dreams, D79. That's exactly right. D79. Okay, here we go.
Bengals in the sausage
factory. Sean, please email that to info@emptyset.com.
Never, not once in my life do I want to read that short story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, now we've got the short story about Lincoln's poop shoot on New Year's Eve in Kyoto. You can only imagine.
Oh, no.
I butchered the pronunciation of that spirit, but ladies and gentlemen, that spirit that I mentioned is a Japanese bathroom spirit that only appears on New Year's Eve. I'm not making that shit up. Apparently that's a thing. Now, whether it's a malicious bathroom spirit that only appears on New Year's Eve or not is irrelevant, because if I ever get to write that short story, it's going to be problematic. I'm going to get in trouble with my wife. That's all there is to it.
I just don't have to read.
You don't have to read it. All right. So as soon as I wrote, I'm like, these bitches are going to ask this for a short story, so I might as well get ahead of it. Okay, here we go. Right, babe?
Not yet. I got to get the timer up.
And do you sound okay? You sound good in your ears? You hearing yourself
When
fine?
I'm right here, yeah.
Is it?
I leaned back to do this, though.
Yep, good.
There we go. I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay. Check, check, check.
Check, 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 check.
You knew what to do. Look at genius. Here we go. Okay. Is this the hyperbole intro?
I think this is the hyperbole intro. I remember
the
script
I got you.
was crazy.
Has Audible used its market dominance and exclusivity deals to unfairly restrict competition and impose inflated fees on authors? Are they a monopoly? And should they be brought to justice?
We discuss the antitrust case against Audible coming up right up. What was that word?
Coming up. See, that's Bingles. That's Bingles, what he says when he achieves orgasm. Coming up. Okay.
We discuss the antitrust case against Audible coming up right after this short break.
Okay. I appear to be louder than you again.
All right.
Yeah, if you're right on top of it. So just lean to it close and we'll get it We'll get it. Beth Copenhaver. Was the
Coming up.
demon involved in the Carnival Poop Cruise? New documentary.
Ooh, probably.
Coming up. Okay,
All
here we
right.
go. Are you ready?
I am
Okay,
ready.
here you go. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices fiction podcast feed, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of fiction and pop culture. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, audiobook narrator and publisher at Empty Set. Sorry. And I am A.B. Sigler, audiobook narrator and publisher at Empty Set Entertainment. And this week on this Deep Cuts, we're discussing the antitrust lawsuit Audible is currently facing.
Reminder, this is a bonus episode in the Scott Sigler Slices feed, not part of any particular story. You don't have to listen to this to know what's going on in our current tale, but we think you'll like this peek behind the storyteller curtain. Or in this case, the peek behind the evil overlords. That it's audible.com.
Publisher. I did
Publisher.
say publisher. And you're not wrong, Steve.
Okay, let's get into it, babe.
All right, so what's happening is an independent author sued Audible because Audible was rate limiting the amount that Audible, to this day, rate limits the amount of money that you can make from the platform, depending on whether or not you are exclusive with Audible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge difference.
Yeah,
For
we're
us,
exclusive, right? Earthcore is exclusive. Yeah.
we have several books. Now, I will say this will take a tiny little bit to explain, but when Audible first came out with ACX, which was the way that indie writers could upload their books and sell at Audible, the deal was fantastic. The deal was for the first 50,000 books you sell, we are going to give you a smaller percentage. But as you continue to sell books, each time you hit another 1,000 threshold, we'll give you a little bit more of a percentage. And so Scott and I have several books of Scott's, obviously Scott's books, up at Audible, on sale at Audible, and they make us what Audible calls 90% of the retail price. Now, we're going to talk about that too.
Okay.
But about a dozen years ago, Audible just changed the game, and they said, you get 40% at most, full stop, and you get only 25% if you're not exclusive to Audible, which means everybody had to make a choice if they are going to, and that's a huge amount of money for a small business, if they're going to choose to make the most money they can so that they can do more work and more writing, or are they going to make sure they're available everywhere?
Can I bring up something here?
Of course.
And that 40% or that 25%, we really missed this early on. We've been with ACX for a long time. We've done great. It's a huge part of our business. We're overall extremely happy with being able to put out our own independent audiobooks. But what we have learned through AudibleGate, which I didn't pay a lot of attention to, and I should have, is that 40% is actually 20%. Because Audible, being a big evil corporation, which, all big corporations are, they cut the money in half through it's a formula. We do all of these things, and therefore your royalty is going to be this. So the 40% actually becomes 20% before it gets anywhere, which means that 25% becomes 12.5%, which in traditional print world is not bad. That's the standard royalty.
Talk about the traditional, how it used to be.
Okay.
Because this is important too.
So the way it used to be was I get a book deal with Penguin Random House. And I believe the splits were I make 8% on the retail cover price for the first 5,000 books sold. Then 5,001 to 10,000, 10%. Then to 15,000, at 15,000 becomes 12.5%, right around there. And it stays in that way in perpetuity. So authors are motivated to sell as many books as they can. Works out great. And that rate is justified when you're putting out print books. Random House has editors, copy editors, artists. They've got people talking to bookstores, convincing bookstores to buy the book. They've got distribution. They've got returns, which means they will sell 100 books to a bookstore will only move 40 of them, then want to return 60 of them, and the publisher has to facilitate getting those books back. There's remaindering. There's an enormous amount of work that print publishers do to get a book into the store. So I'm okay with that 8, 10, 12, that's fine.
100%, yeah.
Audible, ACX, literally deals in ones and zeros. And if it's an ACX book, unless it's an Audible original production where they're paying for a cast, they're paying for the narrator, they're just getting digital files handed to them, which they put into their store, and then they sell it, and they are collecting 60 to 80%, 85% of the sale of that. Now, arguably, that's perfectly fair. They built this system. They completely dominate the industry. Like 95% of our audiobook sales are through Audible. Granted, we're exclusive
at least,
for a lot of them. So the mechanics of all of this kind of work out. Yeah.
I do want to interrupt and say the vast majority of the sales that don't come from our own website, and you cannot buy, we'll talk about that too, but you can't buy audiobooks on our website anymore. The vast majority of them, before we made the choice to go exclusive, were still from Amazon Audible. That's the thing. We were already essentially exclusive.
Now, Audible Gate was people being like, wait a minute, I have a 40% royalty, but I'm going through the math. People went through the math of thousands of authors over many years, and it always came out to the same thing. The 40% promised was actually 20%. So there are no variables over time, no variables over staff being added or cut. They just behind the scenes, they're just saying that 20%. We tell you that simply to give you an idea of how Audible does business. They're the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and they do whatever the hell they want. And honestly, we're frankly fortunate that we get to make a living based on the system. What A is going to talk about is not that. It's a whole different concept. So go ahead.
True. So a couple of years ago, independent author C.D. Rice sued Audible because she said, or that author said, it's now a class action. So now she and her attorneys and the rest of the class are saying...
What was her name again?
C.D. Rice.
Got it. C.D. Rice.
R-E-I-S-S. That the way that the Audible contracts are formed, Audible violated antitrust law by charging higher distribution fees for independent and self-published writers who decline to participate in a program that makes Amazon the exclusive distributor for books on Audible for 90 days. It is also important to note, we're talking about Audible. The lawsuit is with Audible, but Amazon owns Audible, and the exclusivity and all of that jazz is also for ebooks. There's a difference for ebooks if you sell or don't sell.
So let's take a moment. I got to give some respect here. Websites, a little difficult to use for C.D. Rice, but here's our smoldering, handsome man.
Hi, Tiny.
In a suit, as A would say. Hi, Tiny.
Hi, Tiny.
Sometimes she says hi, Tiny, about me, and I fucking melt. I'm not going to lie to you. Every time. But look at this. Now, guys, if you're hardcore sci-fi horror fans, don't you dare make fun of this. The people who write this shit make all the goddamn money in the world. They make way more than we do. Mafia Bride, Age Gap Kidnap Bride, Dark Deeds. Wow. I'm not going to read that, but, okay, go ahead, babe.
So the way the Audible plan works now is if the program offers self-published authors 40% royalties for book distribution compared to 25% for authors who choose non-exclusive competitive distribution. Amazon and Audible tried to get that case dismissed when she filed it. And on June 20th, 2025, a U.S. district judge in Manhattan rejected Amazon's bid to have that lawsuit dismissed. So now Audible has to face the music. Now, we have had so many conversations with Audible about the clarity of their system. And they have stonewalled us as well. So it's not surprising that this district court judge has said, yeah, you're going to have to talk about this because it seems fishy on balance. Now, here's what I know. It is fishy on balance. It's Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon.
We make most of our audiobook sales from Audible and Amazon does not change the fact that they are shady AF. And Scott has gone to the mattresses with them. I want to see how you break this down. I want to see those numbers. Of course, that's not going to happen if one person asks, but it might happen with the way this lawsuit plays out. So I'm excited about that.
They're not dumb. Like, Amazon is a publicly traded company. A publicly traded company cares about one thing fucking only, and that is profit. All they care about is profit. All they care about is returning value to their shareholders. This is the system in which we live. This is our capitalist system right now. So but they also, Audible, will try to make things go away. Audible Gate was a big deal, and people were literally risking their livelihood by saying, hey, you said it's 40, it's 20, and making a big deal about it, knowing full well that if Audible decides they're just not going to give you any SEO juice, any algorithm juice, when you search for a Scott Sigler book, maybe you don't find it. Like that kind of gangster tactics is available to them. People still brave that and did what they could. Except then there were people like Brandon Sanderson, and Dennis Taylor, who mentioned in the chat room earlier.
Yeah.
People who sell copious amounts of books, for whom Audible gets very stressed out if they're like, is Brandon Sanderson not going to put his books on our fucking site? And then they make sweetheart deals with people. I don't know if Sanderson made a sweetheart deal. I do know that a deal was made with Brandon Audible to make things more equitable. That's all I know about it.
Brandon Sanderson?
Brandon Sanderson. Yeah. I know no details. So it seems to me that with the royalty rate alone, Audible is fully aware they can't stand on their own business practices and know that they're going to win in court. So they try to make things quietly go away by giving the squeaky wheels grease. This woman, C.D. Reese, apparently wasn't having any of that BS. And she's like, nope, we're going to go to court. So now, as A mentioned, they are going to court. They're in the discovery phase now. It's the bonus round where the prizes can really add up. So now it's going to become very interesting and exciting. Like, I don't care about the P. Diddy trial. This trial, I care about. I want to know the secrets. I want to know the dirt that comes out. Like,
you mean you don't care about the day-to-day things coming out of the P. Diddy trial? You're not paying attention to that. You do care about the trial itself.
Yeah, I appreciate. I want, if this guy is as bad as it seems to be, I want the justice system to apply itself, and I want him to be tried in a court and judged by a jury of his peers and get whatever sentence is given, because there's a lot of people getting hurt. Yeah. What I'm saying is the salacious, dirty details of freakouts or whatever. It's like, I don't care. I don't give a shit what you people do behind closed doors, as long as it's consensual. But this, on the other hand, this is the kind of tawdry, dirty financial business in the world of books shit that just makes my nips as hard as little rocks. I'm gonna be watching every fucking detail in this. I'll be like, babe, get the popcorn. We're in discovery phase. Babe, they got a Troit Morale. What is that called? Troit Durrell? I don't know legal terms, you guys. I was gonna drop a legal term there and it sounds super funny.
Save voir dire.
Oh, babe, save voir dire just dropped. Let's go. Let's fucking go. So this is gonna be interesting to me. Please continue, darling.
Actually, we are going to take a short break. If you have a minute, please stay and listen to any ads that pop up. There's only one or two, and it really helps the show, and we'll be back right after this.
Pausing. I honestly have no idea what's going on. I feel like you're a completely different person now because your volume is so low. Can you see this, doll?
Yeah.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
That's the.
But aren't I doing the same thing you're doing?
No, you literally, the thing you just said was down here.
Oh, all right. Well, now I'll
yeah, you got a little diaphragm. Get that diaphragm cooking. Ladies and
We'll
gentlemen.
be back right after this.
And I gotta say, the diaphragm, fucking Gangsta been in the gym. She going to the gym 3-4 times a week.
Joe Albie, it's so lovely to see you.
Joe, what's up, baby? How you doing? What do we call the thing with the legs?
I call it the Iron Maiden.
The Iron Maiden. So that's where you get your arms are on these little padded rests, and then you lift your legs like beep, boop, beep, boop. And A hates it
I hate
with
it.
with the heat of 1,000 suns, and yet every time we go, I'm like, God damn it, let's go do the fucking Iron Maiden. And she fucking knocks out 3 sets. So what I'm saying is, diaphragm work getting done. Fucking shit's getting done. It's getting tight inside, all up in here. So you should be able to contract the diaphragm, and you want to hit that yellow.
All right, I will do it. And I think, Sean, you might be right. Mine is a directional mic, and if I'm facing this way, and with the new cameras, I'm a little closer, so I'll just keep trying to do that. And Michael Grace,
we're working on it.
Michael Grace, yes, that was Evil A. Evil A had a moment. I love karaoke, and Evil A had a moment during karaoke where no matter what we did, I would metal screamo every single thing every time. So I would be like, I go out walking.
Oh, I love it. I love that.
After midnight. My friends did not love it.
I will say, we'll get back to the content in a second. But back in the day when I used to do karaoke with work, and I hate team building exercises more than I hate Nazis. And I hate Nazis an enormous amount. Team building exercises just would literally, my teeth would chip. I'm like, why am I doing this instead of doing actual work? One of our team building exercises was karaoke.
How'd that go?
Well, it was better than being in a room talking to people because it was beer. So it was great. But then there was a whole bunch of, I would do country songs and be like, went out with my horse, and like fucking just do all the total fucking screamo shit and watch people leave the bar. It was my favorite.
All the starry skies around, don't fence me in.
Oh shit, D79's going to Dragon Con. D79 will be at Dragon Con. There will be one for the Junkies panel.
There will be.
Jude's in the house. Any of you fucking bitches going to Atlanta for Dragon Con, we're going to have one for the Junkies panel. That shit gets crazy because we all do fucking shots the whole fucking time, and we are not responsible for you stepping in front of a train. We are responsible for you having a good time. All right, here we go.
We do have to get back into our show, so let's get back to the script. You guys are great for hanging out with us. Consider it a birthday gift to me. My birthday is this weekend.
And you get used to it. You're doing a good job. Second, you keep an
I
eye on there.
That, yeah. It's hard for me to look at that and look at the camera, so we're going to have to change placement of the camera probably.
Okay, so you want to...
This is the problem. This is the problem. Here, look, here.
Oh.
This is the problem. So we can adjust all of this.
Maybe we'll
I know what to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
And just last thing I'll say, you'll get used to watching that current Ryan flick check, and you'll dial in the volume level. Oh yeah, Steve Rieberg just posted the Scott Sigler Discord, which is scottsigler.com/Discord. I'm not on as much as I would like to be, but I'm fucking working on it, you sons of bitches. Apparently these cameras work with Discord.
D79. Yes, I am coming back to Dragon Con this year for the first time since the pandemic.
The queen of Dragon Con will be at Dragon Con.
I don't go to any panels and I don't dress up. Although I have told my cosplaying friends that I will cosplay with them.
Yep.
If they want.
There you go, baby. There you go. That's digging it. Okay, are you ready to get back into it?
No way, Sean Dyer.
Sean's going to Dragon Con? Copenhagen's. Oh, Jen Hathorne loves it. All right. Fuck all y'all. We got to get back to our content.
Yeah.
We'll talk. We'll babble after. Here we go. Ready? Where am I at?
You're welcome back to Deep Cuts. It's on this page. There.
Welcome back to Deep Cuts.
This episode, we're discussing the antitrust lawsuit Audible is currently facing. So let me get back to what Scott was talking about before we took the break. Let me get back to what Scott was talking about before we took this break. The key finding that the judge issued on June 20th is that the court determined that the complainant sufficiently alleged anti-competitive harm, allowing the case to go to discovery. So she was able to prove, this author and the lawyers were able to prove that there were truly antitrust problems happening here and discovery has to happen. Audible, their only public response is that the audiobook market is healthy and competitive. That's all they've said. The audiobook market is healthy and competitive, and that is not enough for us. So right now it has reached class action status, which requires at least, I think it's 500
Oh, they're going to get
People,
complainants? They're
complainants.
going to get that in a heartbeat. Yep.
They've already got it.
Oh,
It's already reached class action status.
Oh, shit.
And they're currently looking at a $5 million or more settlement if it happens. And
which is the pool of money that goes to all of the complainants after lawyers' fees,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's. I will tell you what. If this progresses, we have some rough idea of how much Audible makes based on our experience with them over the past 15 years. It's not going to be 5 million, dudes. It's
No,
going to be
it's
going to be $50 million.
But those are the things that they had to meet to make it a class action. Now, we are people who would qualify for this class, and we have not joined this class. Not because we wouldn't, but because we haven't been
invited,
reached out to.
Yeah. Yep.
Which means they have 500 authors who are already in the class, and those people are just like us. So I think it's going to get way bigger. And listen,
I've told you guys that I have not read this fucking unit of a gangster's books yet. But ladies and gentlemen, the courage, the gumption, the stainless steel pair on this author right here, C.D. Reese. Like, this is Mafia Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking nice, right? Mm-hmm. Fucking Mafia Vampires. Mm-hmm. This is not something I would write. It's fucking awesome. But like, she's literally gambling her entire literary career going up against Amazon, because Audible is owned by Amazon. So I just want you guys, if you're into vampires or mafia or vampire mafia or very pretty men.
I just follow her because I'm a romance reader. I don't really do mafia or vampires, but I love her and that she's doing this. She's a tiny David.
She's a gangster. She's a unit. She's a fucking straight unit gangster. This is but anyways, if you're into that kind of stuff, please go consume her products, because she's the one taking the giant risk at being the lead in this. Richard Kadri, is it the same lawsuit with Richard Kadri, or is that a different lawsuit?
It is the same.
Okay.
He's part of the class.
Oh, he's part of the class. And our a friend of ours, great author, cast, yeah. Richard Kadri, is another person who has been like, you know what? He doesn't sound like this, but this is in my head. Every time I read Richard Kadri's tweets or his threads or whatever, it's like this. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. This might not end well for me, but you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your fucking parents. Fuck the horse that brought you into this shit. Let me tell you something. If you're going to put me down here, if you're going to put me with a bullet in my fucking head to get me to stop doing this shit right here, that's what you're going to have to fucking do. And you know what? I'm fucking bulletproof, you cocksucker. That, in my head, that's how Richard Kadri sounds.
So listen, we have recorded an interview with Richard Kadri, which was spectacular.
Oh my God, the best.
And I will find it, and I will put it in the post that I make this Sunday for this cast when it comes out in podcasting. And if you want, you should listen to it, because his whole life, he has been that guy. His whole life, he has been that guy. And the first thing he did, and I know he won't care if I tell you this because he'll tell you this in the podcast, the first job he ever had was, there was a drug dealer on his block who was like, 12-year-old, do you want to deliver these drugs and I will give you money for food? And he said yes. So his entire life, he has been that guy.
And then he had a great job, which was, you know what? Hey, listen, I just need you to be out there while we're stealing cars. If the cops come around, you're going to fucking honk your little bike horn a few times. So Richard Kadri, to get back on task, Richard Kadri, absolute gangster. C.D. Reese, absolute gangster. These people are risking their own livelihood to tilt against windmills and try to get the 800-pound gorilla to be equitable and fair and just not be quite as greedy as they are.
I mean, poor Bezos had to move his little wedding venue because he's a greedy jerk. So maybe he could have had a better wedding venue. I mean, which is Venice. He rented Venice, Italy, Venice.
We're in a robber baron age right now.
We sure are.
That we haven't seen since the lumber barons, the railroad, the steel tycoons. We haven't seen this shit in so long. There have been a lot of people who made a lot of fucking money. Don't get me wrong. But right now, what's going on right now is history books are going to look back on this era and it's going to compare it to the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And people will
And
be
the
like,
1930s.
how did you guys let this happen again? But it happens a lot. And you know, that is Amazon's ethos. There's a reason Jeff Bezos is the third or fourth richest person in the world, because he's a fucking savage. Yeah.
Third. And a cheat. So here's the thing. I do want to bring this up. In the chat room, and I'm going to paraphrase, our friend Spike said, well, wait a minute, though. Will the lawsuit make it harder and more expensive for the end consumer to get your books?
It's a great question.
And it's a great question. And the answer historically is probably not. If Amazon loses this antitrust lawsuit, which it may not, if they do, they will have to make reparations to us, and now they will be on the radar for what is reasonable for the price of a book, and that will be managed. So they're not just going to, they're just going to pay the fines. And you're not wrong. They may raise like membership or subscription prices a little bit, but that is also managed by the same antitrust rulings that they may or may not get. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
They may not. This lawsuit might not be the one, but there will be a lawsuit someday, an Audible lawsuit or an Amazon lawsuit someday that breaks up that antitrust, just like it happened to Ma Bell in the United States, just like it happens over and over again. Now, I do think that there will come a time where we will decide whether or not we want our audiobook distribution to be this way or if we want to join the fight. But as a tiny, tiny business, it's very hard to go up against the Goliath.
Is absolutely central to C.D. Rice's lawsuit, which is, it's a big fucking deal, you guys. If we're making, say we put up a new book, say Slate, we have Slate book 1 and 2 are on the Sweetheart deal, the original deal. Slate book 3, we put it up, the best we can hope for is 40%, which is actually 20%, okay? But we are also looking at, if we want to go down to fucking 12%, then we can put our book out on all the other on all the other sites. So you can get it anywhere. You can get it anywhere you want to get it. The problem is that is a huge decision for a small business to make, which is what this lawsuit is about in the first place. The concept of the antitrust monopoly is, as business owners, we have to make a choice. Do we make it available to our customers anywhere they want to buy the book? Or do we get the higher percentage at Amazon because we can't necessarily afford to put it everywhere?
So to that end, and in the chat room, Michael Grace asks, are there competitors to Audible? The answer to both of those things is yes. Both of those things is yes. There are several. I'm going to talk about a few. We will tell you our books are not there because we are Amazon exclusive, because we need to be Amazon exclusive to pay our bills.
We've been monopoly bitches.
Yeah. So there are many. The ones in order that I own, I join, I pay subscriptions for, those are Libra FM. I like them quite a lot. We're not there, but lots of books are there. Chirp is a big one. You've probably seen Chirp. If you're a Facebook or social media person, you've seen Chirp in TikTok and Facebook and all that jazz. There's audiobooks.com, of course. There's Scribed, of course. There's Hoopla. And then there's things where we participate in. That's legal for the Amazon deal. Overdrive, which is a way that you can rent audiobooks from or borrow audiobooks from your library. And we're part of Overdrive. So you can go to your library, which you should absolutely do, and sign up for a library card if you haven't already. Regardless of if you ever use it, go get it. But we participate in that. And I believe, and what I hope is, there will be an adjustment if this lawsuit actually comes to fruition. There will be an adjustment where we can join all of those, because that exists for ebooks. We have our ebooks in 1 million platforms. We have not joined Kindle Unlimited, which would require us to be Amazon exclusive, because We're in, I think,
Yeah.
17
Which
17 ebook
costs
markets in the world.
us money.
Mhm.
The fact that we are not Amazon exclusive with our ebooks and we're not capitalizing on this incredibly alluring economy of being only in the Amazon Kindle environment has cost us thousands and thousands of dollars. But we're not really big in the ebook market. Like
Right.
that's not our strength. So we're like, fuck it, we'll be anywhere. But as you guys know, this voice. Yeah. Give me Evil A real quick. Evil A say,
This voice.
audiobooks are that is our business. Our business is podcasts and audiobooks. That is where we get to make our money. So we have had to bend the knee to some extent. Like we always want to be everywhere you guys are. We want to be where you guys want to buy books. We want our books there. But doing that with audiobooks is a huge, huge decision for us. And that's what this lawsuit is about. It shouldn't be a huge decision. I shouldn't have to decide I'm not going to sell in China and Europe and Africa, because if I do, I'll compromise my American sales to simplify this concept. That is not how the free market is supposed to work, which is why there are antitrust laws in place, which is why there are anti-monopoly laws in place. And that's what this lawsuit is about.
Yeah. And I will say this as well. An example of this, because the ebook market is not monopolized right now, mostly because it's very easily piratable, so it's not worth it for Amazon to monopolize that market. That costs us some money, but it costs them very little because that's a one teeny tiny, like kilobyte-sized file. An audiobook, the reason we don't sell them on our own website is that we don't own our own server, and it was wildly expensive because they're giant files. And Audible, Chirp, Hoopla, Libby, all those have a process where they take our big, beautiful files and they make them smaller for distribution. We can't do that on our own. And we don't have that infrastructure. So audiobooks are very difficult for a tiny business to sell.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Also, Mary Garrett says Hoopla is being dropped at a library because the charge per download. And here's the thing. You got to be honest. We have to be honest about this. Audible's a fucking money-making operation. Their job is to make money selling you books. They want you to be happy buying the books that they sell you. They want you to be happy with your monthly fee. They want happy customers. At the same time, their real job is to maximize profits. And this is the reason laws and lawsuits exist in this category, because they're going to be as ruthless as possible to make as much money as they can as possible. That is why laws are there to balance the scales. So I don't have a problem with Audible being capitalistic, with trying to make as much money as they can. But when this lawsuit goes to court, if it winds up benefiting the listener and the creator of the art that's being listened to, I think that's a good thing. And Audible is still going to make a fuckload of money. Still.
This is the thing. Here's the thing. They can fix this immediately and still make
huge amounts,
ducats, right?
Huge.
Absolutely. Spike, you and I, we're vibing together. I explained the thing you were asking, and I do want to repeat that. There are lots of ways for us to do what we need to do to release audiobooks, but we don't currently have the bandwidth. I'm about to probably talk to my friend Michael about this, but we will sort of work that out. If we could do it, we would do it, but that then also adds audiobook distribution to our jobs, and it's just the two of us.
It's
and we already don't release enough stuff. I do want to also say D79 in the YouTube chat room says, I have paid back all my pirated books accounting for inflation. And I love your face for that. That's so lovely. I also have done that, accounting for inflation. But pirating an ebook or downloading what you think are free for everyone ebooks, and then you find out that there are pirated, that is a small, small thing because that file is tiny. And so I've done the same thing, and I love that you did it. But we don't really care so much about ebooks because if you want to read them, you can get them free from our website right now if you want, you know? But audiobooks are a different animal, and
Okay.
they're a lot bigger and a lot harder to maintain. So we can't do that.
Real quick, I just want to give another shout out. We've celebrated C.D. Rice for being business savvy enough, savage enough, gangster enough to go after the Goliath. But also, ladies and gentlemen, this fucking king. This
Hello,
fucking king.
Tiny.
Richard Kadri.
100%.
I guarantee you, if you like my books, particularly Slay, if you are a Slay fan, you will go through Sandman Slim like fucking X-Lax through your whole digestive system. You will just gobble them up and shit them out so fast because he is a fucking gangster. This guy is also a lead in these lawsuits, and just look at him.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a beast.
He just looks
We love
dangerous.
him.
He looks
We adore
He's a
him.
fantastic guy. Richard Kadri. Check out his books, Sandman Slim. He has other books as well, but I think you guys will like it a lot.
And I will add, I have read every single thing that I can that Richard Kadri ever wrote because I love his writing.
He's very good.
I have read Sandman Slim in its entirety 5 times. And there are many, many Sandman Slim books. So,
yeah,
for
that's,
sure.
5 times? So she's read, I think there's like 12 books now.
I think there's 13.
13 books. A goes through audiobooks like crazy. And if she's listened to that thing that many times, it's great. So people in the chat room are mentioning, it's great when you get pirated stuff. Most people get pirated work, not because they don't want to pay for it. It's because they don't have the money to pay for it. We have people in the chat room right now saying, by the way, if you're listening to this after the fact, we do this every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can join us live at twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, youtube.com/Scott Sigler, facebook.com/Scott Sigler, and be part of what you're listening to right now. Most of the time, the reason for theft is you do not have the resources to purchase this product. Mm-hmm. That you sort of feel like it shouldn't cost this much for me to get this thing. It's a combo. You don't have the money, and also there's the impetus. I should be able to get this. Most people don't go like, I don't have money to buy a fucking 87 karat diamond. You don't figure out a way to steal an 87 karat diamond. But a book, you're like, God, dude, I'm working so hard. I just need to get this. Once people get the money to buy the products, they often buy the products ad nauseum. That is how we made our entire business. From square one in my podcast, my books, I'm like, I know you don't got money. That's why the podcast is free. Go fucking crazy. Listen to it, enjoy it. And then a certain percentage of them, once they get their shit figured out, or they grow up and they get a job, they're going to come back and be like, that's the dog who hooked me up when I didn't have any money. And then they buy every fucking thing I put out. Everything. Mm. Everybody wins in that situation. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about it. Yep.
Don't feel bad. And don't feel bad if you did that when you were young and you're a reader today, but you haven't repatriated all that money. Nobody cares. I don't think. We don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I want you, our business.
What we love is that you're a reader now. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. What we want, in our business, and this is slightly off topic, what A and I want is for you to give us the most valuable resource you will ever possess in your life, which is time. Yeah. Time is the currency of life. If you listen to a Scott Sigler audiobook that is 23 hours long, you'll never get that 23 hours back in any way. What we want out of our existence is about that 23 hours, you will do it again and again, and again. And every time I drop a title, every single time, you know that's going to be worth that precious resource that cannot be replenished. It's a little bit off topic, but Audible also, I mean, like, I don't want to come across like we're totally shitting on Audible, like they're totally evil. It's a great product. It's a great service. I listen to Audible all the goddamn time. It is a fantastic technology. They do a good job. They learn what you like and serve up shit that you will probably like, and they keep refining it. Everything they do is great. It's just there's a tiny bit
Absolutely.
of long-toothed, blood-tipped fangs going on that doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Yep. So we are about done with this week's Deep Cuts, but we are so grateful for all of you. We're so grateful for you guys in the chat room talking about the ways that you consumed Scott's work early on and how you consume it today. There are a million ways to do this right. We give away so much free content because for us, it's really about the community, but as I think Michael Gray said in the chat room, but we still have to be able to eat and have a roof
Yeah.
over our heads and
Yes,
stuff like that.
that's right.
But we have that. And that's kind of all that we want out of, or indie authors want out of this lawsuit, this kind of thing. We want it to be equitable. And now is the time that we're seeing that things are a little inequitable.
And at the end of the day, you would think any rational human being would think that it is absolutely common sense that the person who creates the story that you want to listen to gets paid more than the people whose task is to deliver the story you want to listen to you. There is no arguing this logic. There is no defending this. The bottom line is, who is the person who put in the time to make the thing that you want to buy? That person should be the first to the fucking feeding trough every fucking time. That is not how business works. People become billionaires because they're like, you know what? I'm going to take 80% of what you made that would have never been made in the history of mankind without you, without your imagination, without your dedication, without your hard work. And they take 80 to 90% of that. And clearly that's wrong. Clearly that's illogical. And yet that is the way things work. So I think that's the main thing from this lawsuit is the people who actually make the shit that touches your heart, that touches your soul, that makes you like, I'm going to listen to this 100 times again. Scott's got his 7th book out. I'm going to listen to all the GFL series again. The people who make that happen for you, who tickle you up in your brain, those people should be getting the most, and they're not, and they just want a more equitable share.
Can I have the mouse, please?
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. We are done for this week's Deep Cuts, but I want to actually end our commentary by reiterating something that my friend Spike said in the chat room tonight, and that Cobalt seconded, kind of from our perspective. What he said was, I will give you both all of my listening, reading, buying, and all that goes with it. I love y'all, and I always will. Y'all keep me going with your content. And I want to repurpose that and say, this is why we are who we are. We also are sustained by you guys caring about us, loving our business, loving our tiny business, being patient when we're just a 2-person company where only one person is the factory, or when I have trouble shipping stuff on time and all that stuff. We love you just as much because you keep us going, and we're ever grateful for you. So please come back and join us. Please let us know at info@emptyset.com if there's anything you want us to talk about or anything you don't want us to talk about. And I think we should go, where is the scripts? Sorry, Steve.
We'll close it up, baby.
Yeah, it's this one. Here we go. Here, this one, I think.
Oh, that's
Steve,
yours.
I'll snap back in. And while we're done for tonight, I just want to say thank you so much. We love you just as much as you love us, and we're always going to be here for you just the same way you're here for us.
That is it for this episode of Deep Cuts.
We'll be back next week with content. I don't know.
We don't know our
We don't
topic
know.
for next episode.
But we'll see you next Wednesday.
So if you're listening to this in the podcast feed, the next episode, all I can tell you, it's going to make your short and curlies shorter and curlier. It's going to make your skin tingle. It's going to make your soul sizzle. And there will be a part of you that when you listen to these voices will be saying, this is all I've ever wanted. This is all I've ever needed.
And before he tells you how you guys smell, I want to tell you, thank you so much I love you so much, and congratulations, and love you for
Oh,
5
dude,
years.
I'm living the goddamn dream. This is ridiculous.
We celebrate 5 years on Saturday
All
together.
right. Yes, our anniversary's coming up.
Mhm.
All right, we're going to talk about that after the fact. Again, we're going to... Steve got the pet out. We'll talk about that after the show. The after show is great. You guys, if you're listening to podcasts, come listen to the after show. Snap in. You all smell an awful lot like flowers.
Goodbye.
Get him a goddamn mouse back, Jesus. The fuck?
Why do you gotta leave it on the other side?
Have another drink. You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, have another drink. Your mouth.
I know.
So A's getting back in the audiobook recording and working on it, but A's got a weird thing with that. Her mouth is naturally clicky. So we're trying to work on it. And a big thing is obviously hydration's extremely important for an audiobook narrator.
Trying hard.
Oh my God. Martin Evans.
Dawn
Makes you
Shipley,
so
thank you so much.
loud. Fuck
Oh my
yes, it
God,
does.
that was so loud.
Was it?
Yes.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Jesus, baby. Anyways,
Dawn Shipley, thank
all
you
you
so much.
motherfuckers, fucking 5 spot. Let's go. Fucking anniversary. How you feeling about anniversary, girl?
I'm the luckiest person on earth.
No, you're not. You're second luckiest person on earth. At best. At best. First luckiest person
Spike.
on earth is right fucking here.
Spike, Steve is gonna hate us for this. But good news, Steve loves us too, so he'll
You know
deal
what?
with it.
Steve's fucking, he's in the fucking mines shoveling coal, just like the 2 people you see right here. He's fucking working his ass off, doing his thing. So, anyway.
Did you see this, Steve? I
Birth
always call
anniversary?
it the birth anniversary, but he calls it the birth
I
diversity.
like birth anniversary better.
I do too.
I do.
We're
Birth
changing
anniversary is
it.
better. All right, you guys. So, again, if you like romancy shit, vampires, please go patronize CD. Let her do her thing. If you like ghosts, vampires, demons, werewolves, hell, fighting in pits, heaven, angels,
Mythology.
mythology, you definitely want to check out
LA,
fucking
cigarette smoking,
if you like LA, you want fucking
classic cars.
you want this fucking pimp right here. Absolutely.
I can't.
I gotta tell you.
Hi, Tiny.
I start reading about the lawsuits and reading about this shit. I'm like, plaintiffs are XXX. I'm like, Richard fucking Kadri?
Yes.
Fucking gangster fucking Kadri is the lead, one of the leads on this shit. This gentleman has put his balls on the chopping block. You guys could, the analogy dies. You could like help roll his balls back.
Yeah, it's sort of
I
done.
don't-
But what I
got
will
nothing.
say is, if you love Slay, if you listen because you love Slay, Sandman Slim, that whole
He's
series
a gangster.
it's so fun because Sandman Slim, this is not a spoiler. This is the first page of the book.
Okay.
Sandman Slim, we meet him as he arrives back in LA after 11 years in hell. And that's insane.
Yep.
And he just does not care at all.
Super fun. It's super
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
It's super fun.
Okay. So we're going to tap out now. I hope you guys have been educated a little bit about the business of books, which is kind of one of the things we talk about. The business of books. There are things afoot, strange things afoot at the Circle K, for sure. We're going to come back to this once it actually goes to trial, and we will be the sweaty, breathless commentators. I think, you know what I think we should do?
What?
We should make our own courtroom sketches.
Oh.
Yes.
Are
Yes.
We doing it on Post-it
I'm
note?
going to do courtroom sketches of a trial I didn't go to at all.
Are you doing it on Post-it notes?
No, I'm an artist, God damn it. 8.5 by 11 paper, probably lined, like a notebook. I'm going to do very detailed. You guys, dude, ignore her. You guys don't understand my level of artistry for courtroom sketches. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
But we're
I am
gonna
an
go
exceptional not Machiavellian. Who's a Michelangeloan?
Sean Dyer says. Sean, those were the most insane thing we did.
What's that?
If you guys don't know, Sean Dyer in the chat room said, I have seen his work. It brings me immense joy. joy talking about Scott's
Oh my
sketches
God, Sean's
because
got-
Sean ordered 2 copies of Slay, and in one he said, "Would you please draw me a sketch of dragon as a dachshund?"
Yep.
And then in the other, he said, "Would you please draw me a sketch of dragon as a dragon?" And that went well, I guess.
No, it did
It
not
did
go
not
well.
go well.
It did not go well.
But Sean's happy, and that's what we do. We aim to please. It was a lot.
You know what? To be honest, if I can get this to come up, let's go to books. So, look, guys. Number one, if you don't have your hardcover or paperback copy of Slay, fucking give the program. Just grab one, just so you can
Oh,
go
dear.
review it. If you got
Thank
the
you,
Audible,
Jax.
go review it. But Sean asked, the thing is, see this file right here, this area right here, this white area, you can request personalization for your, you can tell me exactly what you want me to write. About 8% of the time, I will write exactly what you want to write. Unless, number one, you want me to fet a team that is not the Detroit Lions. That will not go well for you.
It
Fuck
will.
off.
It'll actually go pretty well for
Fuck
you.
off.
It just won't be what you asked
It
for.
will not be what you asked for. Number two, if it's like 800 words long, bro, not going to do that. But Sean said, bought 2 books.
Mhm.
Can you draw me a dragon in dog form, which I feel like I fucking rock. I
Yeah,
feel
that
like I
one
did
is
good.
great.
I'm a cartoony guy.
And
Then dragon in dragon form, and it did not. Sean, I need you to take a picture of that and an email in front of Doucette.
And in the YouTube chat, Fuzz Bubbles just said we need to see
Yeah,
those. So
Sean,
if you want to post them, that would be great.
You know what?
Send them to us too.
I am so embarrassed by that drawing.
He literally came to me and was like this. This is what I have. This is what I. But we did it. Oh, look what I did. I did that. Because I put this white thing up. Oh,
yep.
And now I fixed it.
Because the white balance is automatic. So it corrected based on what it saw. We'll fix that. Oh, God.
Pixar
Sean
in
says
the
the Pixar Discord. ScottSigler.com/Discord, motherfuckers. ScottSigler.com/Discord. You can soak up my goddamn embarrassment that I don't know how to draw at that spot.
But you just said that you're going to do courtroom drawings.
I am.
But you just said you couldn't draw.
Yes. Because for my level of drawing ability, I think the courtroom drawings are going to be spectacular and will change your lives. Change them. All right, you fucking bitches.
We love you. Thank you guys so much. We have had a rough day.
Yeah, a bit of a rough day.
Bit of a rough day.
Bit of a rough day.
We're all good. Everything's all good. But it's been a little bit a lot this week for us, and this was joyful and wonderful. So thank you guys so much.
I gotta go back to the chat. Spike says, "Can I order 2 more and get 2 new personalizations?" Yes, Spike. We are capitalists. We make a thing to sell you a thing that you be happy with a thing. However many copies you goddamn want to buy, I'll draw all the shitty ass, terrible drawings that you could possibly
And
want.
because I'm me, I'm just going to say, you could just do that for Slate Book 2 coming up by the end of 2025.
What's wrong with you? They'll buy Slay Book 2 for multiple copies as well. Why are you not a capitalist?
I'm not a capitalist. I'm not a capitalist.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. All right. You guys fucking rock. That's it. I'm going to go hang out with my wife. She's fantastic. You guys are all great. You all smell awful like flowers. And now I'm going to stop. Wait.
We love you guys.
3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Goodbye.